Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining me on day 17, part 2 of the tugboat build. Why part 2? Well, part 1 consisted of attempting to braze the aluminium hull openings, starting with the fore end of the hull. The joints were quite tight, quite good, and they looked ideal to just run some aluminium rods into the joint, hopefully using a bit of capillary action, and seal the openings. But as you can see in this next very short clip, because I don't think anybody wants to see 15 or 20 minutes of nothingness, just the same attempt to try and heat up the alloy. As you can see, although the nylock nut in one of the fixings gets hot enough to melt, the aluminium hull, which is 2mm, just resisted all attempts to heat up, and I gave up in the end. So here's a little look, and I mean a very short look, because it is a pointless exercise really. So what to do? Well, Araldite was always going to be my plan B, because I was quite pleased with the joints, how tight they were, and how the fore end of the tugboat hull had closed up during the manufacturing process. Because I was so pleased how tight the joints were, I thought they were an ideal opportunity to use rapid setting Araldite. I've used it many times over the years on many different projects, and it's always served me very well. The only issue was going to be the amount of Araldite needed to continue with this method. But I used the Araldite, left it overnight, and then did a quick immersion test, or should I say flotation test, in a small kitchen sink. My thoughts were, if I was to try and force the bow of the hull down into the water, it would be the equivalent of the weight of the tugboat during flotation, and this was to be exactly what happened. So again, a very short clip of me pushing the bow of the hull into water. Try not to get any inside the hull from an overflow, and just trying to prove the joints. First thoughts were the resistance to me pushing the hull into the water-filled sink was super, and this resistance gives me great optimism into the fact that the hull is actually going to float relatively easy and high in the water. High in the water is not the finished product that I'm aiming for, but I would rather start from a high in the water hull than a hull that doesn't float at all. As I push down over and over on the hull, we do see one leak, and even seeing one leak gives me optimism that the rest of the joints are holding up. I'm sure everybody that's ever built a boat has sealed a single leak after construction, so that's not going to faze me. It's not the end of the world. Just time to order some more araldite and continue filling. Just one note before we look at this attempt at submerging the hull fore end. The strange looking tan coloured material is my attempt to use Gorilla Glue to make up for the lack of araldite, and it's not the right medium. It didn't work. It's not suitable at all for the task I gave it, so nothing to do with the product or its validity. It just didn't suit the application I tried it on in desperation when I ran out of araldite. So don't be put off by the coloured horrible stuff that's billowing out of the joints. That'll be replaced with the tried and tested araldite. So first buoyancy test, very successful, very promising, and it looks like it's gonna float. So join me again soon when more stuff comes. I can continue sealing the hull both fore and aft and get those motors mounted at deck level. So thanks for joining me. See you soon. Bye.